Mason asked if I could build him a new headboard for his room, so today that's what we're going to be building. Several months ago, Mason sent me this image and asked if I could build him this headboard. Well, I've never built a headboard before, but I studied the picture, created a drawing with dimensions that made sense for his bed and his room size, and then we headed off to the hardware store to pick up all of the supplies. I apologize if the sound is a little bit off in today's video. I'm traveling while editing this, and I left my mic at home, so I'm using my phone for the voiceover portion. Since it was winter break from school and the weather was decent out when we started this project, we had pulled the workbench that Josh and I made over the summer outside. This way I can mitigate the amount of sawdust that would have collected inside the garage. Mason helped measure and cut down all of the 2x4s needed to build out the initial frame. With the boards cut down, we laid out 2 of the 48-inch pieces and one 56-inch in a U shape on top of the workbench. This is going to be the inside support frame of the headboard, and you aren't going to see it at the end, so I wasn't too concerned with how it looked. We used wood glue and long 3-inch screws to hold these pieces together, and we made 2 sections just like this. There's going to be a cubby in the middle of the headboard, so I took 2 more of the 48-inch 2x4s and I placed them a few inches in from the outside of the frame. This is going to be the stud where I screw the cubby into, and we did this on both sides. For support on the top and the bottom of the cubby, we cut down 2 more 2x4s so that they would fit in between the ones that we just added, and this time we drilled some pocket holes so that it would be easier to screw them in. I'm going to add some additional pocket holes into this back 2x4 section of the frame that I made. That way I can connect the 2 pieces together and then just make it a little bit more stable. Now I could have used like a 2x8 or a 2x6 instead of putting 2 2x4s together, but I thought that I was going to need like a gap between the 2x4s, so I wanted to make it as lightweight as I possibly could. So this was what I had come up with at the time. In hindsight, I could have just used a 2x6 as like the solid frame, or a 2x8 would have worked as well. Yesterday, we got the frame section built for the interior structural part of the bed frame, and then now we're going to start working on the cubby. So in the inspiration image, Mason wanted to have a cubby right in the middle section where he can store things, have some lighting there, and we're going to be building that out of a couple of 1x. So I have 2 1x6s here and then a 1x8. I ended up making a mistake here, and I didn't catch it until later on in the build, but I bought a 1x12 so that the cubby would be almost 12 inches tall, but I grabbed the 1x8 instead. It ended up being a little bit shorter than we wanted, but we made do and carried on. Well, winter break is over and Mason went back to school today, but I am going to work on sanding and staining the cubby portion of the bed frame. supposed to get 3 inches of snow tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and get these boards sanded down before we get all that snow and we can't really work outside anymore. With the absolutely frigid temperatures outside and the snow that we just continue to get every single day, I decided to bring the boards inside and stain them here in my living room. That way I don't have to keep putting this project on hold. Now, I did make one mistake. Of course I did. You know I'm gonna share that with you guys. When I was building out the cubby, I had intended for it to be a 12-inch height so that Mason could, fit some taller little knickknacks or whatever he needs into that space, and I accidentally used one of the 8-inch boards instead that we are going to be using for this surround and what I'm staining right now. So unfortunately, I am gonna have to rip down my 12-inch board to make it the same width as the 8-inch ones. I added a coat of pre-stain to prep the boards before going in with that stain, and I'm going to use the same dark walnut color that I used on the cubby. In my fireplace makeover, I had mentioned that I had seen a hack using a magic eraser to apply stain, and I did test it in that video. It worked really well, but I'd already had a coat of stain on my wood before I remembered about that hack. So on this headboard, I am going to start out on the raw bare wood, and we're gonna test this magic eraser hack, see if it works just as well as it did on my fireplace. I really like this technique of using the magic eraser with stain. I love a saturated stain look, and I find that I have to go over my wood multiple times to achieve that with a rag. On these boards, I stained them one time and that was it. I will certainly be using this again in the future. I think I mentioned it earlier that I had used the wrong size board on the cubby portion of the headboard. So what I'm gonna do, instead of taking that apart, redoing it, I'm just going to rip this larger board down so that they're all the same size. I moved inside to my living room for the rest of this build since it was just too cold and snowy out now, but next I need to get the cubby screwed in place. I couldn't just screw it flush with the 2x4s because we're adding in some of this thin white MDF hardboard on top, and I want that to be flush with the opening of the cubby. I used some clamps to help here. Clamps are great when you don't have another set of hands to help you, and then I drilled a countersink hole with a spade bit and screwed the cubby in place.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Now I can add that second 2x4 that we cut down to fit in the center. This is going to help support any weight of the objects that Mason wants to place inside of his cubby. I also added pocket holes to the bottom of the two frame sections. That way that I could attach them together and it would be more secure on the inside. So now we need to cover up the framing of the 2x4s, and I've got this thin MDF from Home Depot. Either Lowe's or Home Depot, one of those hardware stores, but it comes in a large 4x8 sheet, and I had them cut it down at the store to more manageable sizes that would fit in my car. This is going to add that smooth surface similar to the inspiration image and finally start to bring this headboard to life. For the bottom open section, the inspiration image had a large stained wood piece here. I had some 1/4-inch plywood on hand that was large enough for this project, so I'd cut that down to size. Of course, my battery died as I was right at the end of this cut. Since this is plywood, it's pretty rough, so I sanded it all down in preparation for the stain. The inspiration had 2 different wood tones, but Mason wanted it all to be the same for his room. Next was the tedious task of filling in all the nail holes and any gaps between the cubby and the whiteboard. I used joint compound at first, but that cracked in some areas, so I went back over it with caulk. There were a few sections that weren't quite flush, so I tried to flatten them out with the joint compound.
You can really see right here just how different the stains look in comparison to how I used the magic eraser on our longboards, and I had used just a rag on this inside cubby portion at first. And you can see that that magic eraser just really gives this dark, beautiful, saturated stain look, which is personally what I'm going for whenever I'm using a stain. I really want to see that color. So I am gonna go over the cubby one more time. I'm gonna use the magic eraser on this one, see if we can get it to be the same color, and then on the bottom portion with the plywood, I'm also going to use the magic eraser, but it is a different type of wood where these two were the same, so we'll see if I can get it to have that same effect. It might be a little bit different. So now I have everything stained and painted and ready to assemble that last 1x8 section that's gonna kind of create a border around the entire headboard. But unfortunately, whenever I laid this down to add that white paint, I did kind of crack a lot of the areas where I had put that joint compound. So I think I should have used some caulk instead of the joint compound. It would offer a little bit more flexibility for moving it around and wouldn't just crack and crumble like the joint compound did. So I did pick up this brown caulk. I'm gonna see, hopefully it will match pretty closely to our stain. So I'm gonna add this. I might have to do white in some areas. It kind of just depends on where the crack is and what section it is more so on, the white or on the wood. So I'm gonna figure that part out. But first I'm going to cut down our 1x6s so we can add the frame around, and then we'll caulk everything in and we'll be almost done with this project.
When I cut down the 1x8s for the border, I cut the tops at a 45-degree angle. This is going to give a cleaner look over using a butt joint, and this kit is always being such a jokester. brown caulk was probably even more tedious than the joint compound. This time I had to clean it up really well before it started to dry since the wood was already stained and the white board was already painted. I didn't want to have to go back and do that again.
All that's left to do is seal up the headboard. I like to use this triple thick poly on furniture pieces that I know are going to get a lot of wear and tear and a lot of use. This stuff seems to hold up really well.
Wait on. After you said like Joe, put no tall.
We added in a few puck lights for lighting effect, and this headboard project is complete.